Yeah, thank you very much. Um, members, help me understand computer repair and maintenance. You will never regret. You will never regret. That is why, be it whether I'm there, whether I'm not there, I need your involvement. I want you to ask as much as you can so that we can kind of build these skills within us. That is why I'm saying I'm going to have a virtual practical session. Yeah, because I want to take you through something. Yeah, some people may already be knowing, but then I believe, and my target is those people who don't know. So, but I believe it will be a very, very useful one. Yeah. So, because when it comes to computer repair and maintenance, we don't just talk about it, but instead we have to do it. You get. So all of the things we are talking about, install this, install that, update this, update that. You don't just talk about them, but you have to do it. You get. Yeah. So if you have to check your RAM, someone will tell you now the RAM we are removing is which capacity, then which one are we putting and why. So you see, this is pure medicine of computers. So if you say that, what, you people, you stop using paracetamol, then you are going to be using maybe paracetamol plus, or you people, since that you have malaria, now you can use quota, then why not maybe chlorophyll? There has to be a reason and so on. So like we have to really, really practice this. Yeah. And I will be very, very eager to work with the people who can even do stuff on their own, and probably when we meet they just ask questions. As I was doing this is what happened. What could be the problem? What could be the case? Yes. Yeah. Now sometimes we can say, what? We can install antiviruses like a Kaspersky, and then someone can say, what, master? But there is also this other one, antivirus, which is also working well, you get. So we have alternatives because I need everyone to be contributing from an informed point of view. So collective maintenance, I've already told you, this is pure repairing, which I wouldn't want organizations to go into if they can prevent their computers from going down to get, because now just imagine you work with MTN and then the computer or the server or whatever, the database or whatever that is in charge of maybe mobile money goes down. How much money do you think MTN can lose when the mobile money service is down for a full day? You get. Yet, if you keep maintaining, you don't get downtimes. You get, because these downtimes can cause a big, big, big loss. So repairing involves the replacement or repair of a system or its components after we have already done what? Failed. Yeah, now, not every component within a computer system that can be repaired. There are some that we just recommend replacement. If the CPU has gotten has issues, the best way to handle is to replace. Don't even bother replace. I mean, repairing. You get it. Yeah. Apart from minor cases, yeah, like now if the screen is the one that has issues, the screen may not be the actual problem, but maybe some circuits within the screen that could be having, issues that once you replace them, then you end up restoring the normal state of your screen. So you have to identify what can be repaired and what cannot be repaired so that we just replace. Good. I'm hoping I'm making some sense. I don't want you people to go and make mistakes in field. I don't want you to make mistakes here and there when you were under my supervision. No. Then the goal of this form of maintenance is to restore operability to the system by either correcting the problem or replacing the damaged program. Yes, yes. So, common corrective measures involving removing viruses and malware, uninstalling harmful programs, and so on. So all of those are what? All of those are basically corrective maintenance procedures. Yeah. Okay. Many common computer problems are easily fixed and don't require an IT professional. You get to perform a collective maintenance. It is important to first recognize the problem and figure out the root cause, the way how we did it for the other one. Now, like I told you now, like when it comes to repairing, and if we are just to replace really, which skills do you need if you can just open the system unit and then get to know if the hard disk is the one that did one that may be crashed. Let's assume you're going to replace it. Now replacing the hard disk, actually now like let me give you an example of a laptop. Now, a laptop, once your laptop is on, let's assume maybe you have been moving around with it, it is on, and then it breaks, like it falls down. When the computer is powered on and it falls down, the first key thing that gets issues is the hard disk. In most cases, it will obviously get spoiled. You get, yeah. Now, the moment the hard disk gets spoiled, then fine. Once you know how to open the laptop and get to know where the hard disk and how it is connected, it is just a matter of removing it and putting another one. So I don't think that one requires what much skills for you to do it, to perform. Yeah. Then just a sec, just a sec. I want to read someone's input here. Someone is asking something. I want to see. So, in case my laptop's keyboard letters that are indicated on it are displaced from what they display on the screen. Wait, let me repeat. In case my laptop's keyboard letters that are indicated on it and displaced from what they display on the screen when they are placed, is there a way I can troubleshoot the keyboard system to correspond with the same keyboard letters when placed? Give me an example. That maybe when you touch letter A on the keyboard, it may be types letter Z. First, give me an example so I can understand your question clearly, because what I have something in mind, but before I actually take that route, I want to first confirm whether the route I want to take is what you intended to know. So you can just add on, Joseph, just add on. For example, when I place this, I get this, only that, then I can be able to, to address your pattern from an informed point of view. Yes. Then, delete programs you never use. This one I have already, and I've been encouraging you to do so. Many computer manufacturers, but they are new computers with programs you don't even need to do it. to use. That is what I told you. You can have a phone when it has already installed programs. There are so many that you don't want even to use. Now, like let me check. Yeah. Now, like on my phone, I have actually some programs like I have podcasts, I have stocks, then I have actually stocks. At least for podcasts I've used it, not so many, but at least I've used it. But then I have I have stocks. I have stocks and for team. Yes, these ones for sure I've never even used them. Yes, I've never used them, but I believe each and every iPhone comes with such programs. So you realize that now, just imagine maybe the phone was not of good specifications. That means it would even start getting issues, which issues can be done what? Can be resolved by removing unwanted or unused programs you get. So basically, it's always good that you remove such. Then, yeah. It is good. Many computer colors back there. Okay, it is a good idea. Uninstall all programs you don't. Okay, uninstall them and see if your PC runs faster. Procedure for uninstalling. I had requested Joseph to expound more by giving me an example of how his keyboard works, but I'm not getting anything from him. Joseph, are you still there? I want to answer your question in the best way. Otherwise, I cannot really do that. What? Okay. Oscar says, what are the troubleshooting processes for crashing applications on a PC or phone? Because it is a common problem. Troubleshooting processes for crashing applications. Now, number one is uninstall and install. If you have an application which keeps crashing from time to time, it is always good that you first uninstall and then reinstall. Yeah, sometimes it is a bug within an application, and maybe the manufacturers have now the new version that has fixed the patches. Then sometimes it is about compatibility. Yes, that kind of application may not be the version that can work with that particular operating system on your device. So that is why I'm saying it is always good. But also when you uninstall, it is better that after installing, you have to restart the device so that it does not keep cache, because sometimes if you don't restart, it will keep cache and keep returning the previous set of the application. So what if Cartoon Joseph uses drivers, driver path solution? Because I think the problem he has is because he lacks drivers. I wanted to first understand his exact problem very, very well, but that could be also another good approach. Yeah. For example, when I place the hash key, it displays, then there is no problem with your keyboard. When he places it, hash, it displays, and I place and it displays hash. There is totally no problem. Completely no problem. Let me ask you, Let me ask you. Okay, now I want to ask to use voice. I don't want you to speak. Anyone. I want everyone to unmute. I want you to unmute. And we have an interactive session. If you members, in case you don't have much noise, please you can unmute because I want us to speak. And you don't need even raise up a hand, just speak. Now, when I say jambo, how would you respond? Or what does it come to your mind when I say jambo? You mean you have never heard of this this word?
Jambo.
Very good. Tendo says when
I said jambo to you.
very good, like yes, but then that is, I think it is a Swahili word. I'm not so sure, but it could be a Swahili word. Meaning what? Meaning hi? I think so. Now, you realize that that keyboard that Joseph is using is installed in a certain, we call it localization in software. Like it is installed in a language whereby now you see some computers, when you want to put the art symbol, this one. Let me show you this one. When this one is what I want to show to you. When I want to type this symbol, I will obviously press shift and maybe 2, you get. But then there are some keyboards whereby it is not found there, you get. So it depends on which keyboard did you install when you are installing the operating system, you get. Is it US? Is it maybe UK? But also leave alone that, yeah, because sometimes actually US and UK, they are of the same, some share, but then sometimes it depends on the computer manufacturer. There are some computer manufacturers whose keyboards are designed based on how their market perceive or interprets stuff. Yeah, otherwise your computer doesn't have, your keyboard doesn't have any issue, and I don't think you can change this in the configurations.
My issue is, for instance, when I want to display hash, I
Then,
okay,
come again.
When in case I want to display hash, then I press Ctrl to where when on the keyboard is displayed when on the keyboard is hash, then when I press this, it also says something different like hash.
Okay, though I'm not able to hear very well, but at least maybe what you wanted maybe to mean, you can still correct me, is what if now you want to display hash and you touch on hash, but you don't get it. Now, the easiest way is now when you press shift and the hash, and then they give you the @ symbol, what you do, now just go where the @ symbol is and the place you will get the hash.
But when I go to hash and press hash, it displays.
When you go to
this code,
it displays what?
Code.
It displays what?
Quote. The double quote.
Okay, very good. Now you go to your keyboard where you see double quotes. When you touch there, what do you get?
But when I touch the double quote, it displays hash.
Very good. That is what I've told you. what you just need to do is to interchange. When you press shift and touch where there is a hash and you get double quotes, then you just know that your hash is now where you have double quotes. So you just interchange. What you get is the opposite in most cases. So, but that could, which brand is that?
Using the bell system.
Hmm?
Using the bell system.
You're using what?
I'm using the bell system.
Yes, you could be using a Dell PC, but when the keyboard is not actually Dell what? Keyboard, but a different one. So those ones also matters a lot. So members, you can now mute. Yeah. I don't know if you're able to see my screen. Let me confirm this. Okay. Limit how many programs load at startup. Yes, this was also like these very people I told you in the morning where I have been. They were also telling me, but previously we could use 50 GBs a month, and sometimes we could not even finish it. But then after we got someone who worked on our machines, we don't know what he did. Now you realize that the 50 GBs can be spent within only sometimes 1.5 weeks, sometimes 2 weeks, Then I just realized that the problem is here, whereby now their computers have what we call background programs that will run every time they start your computers. So which end up, eating up their data you get. So you have to limit how many programs load on startup. Yeah, because very many programs are designed to load automatically when Windows also do what? Start. So software manufacturers often set their programs to open in the background where you can't see them running. So they will open right away when your Windows is booted. So decide for yourself if you want a program to load and start. So this is one of the things that I want to check. Okay. Okay, but how can you tell what programs load automatically at startup? Sometimes this is obvious because the program will add an icon in the notification area, but sometimes actually these are not even disclosed, but they stay in the what? So you have to perform this. You can actually disable it via the command prompt by typing msconfig at your command the CMD and the CMD when you like start where your search programs, you go to what you type in run run. When the run comes, the dialog box will pop up. Then when it pops up, you type in what we call CMD command. Then you type msconfig. Now choose which program to enable and which to disable. Fragmentation is another way of cleaning and is speeding up your computer's performance. Fragmentation makes your disk to do extra work that can slow down your computer. So disk. The fragmentation rearranges fragmented data so that your disk can work more effectively. Hey, sir, have they invented a machine that can be used to check the particular problem of computer like that they use in a car of today? These are so many. These are so many. Yes, there are so many. Only that now, actually, they are not so common here. That is why at least probably maybe you have not seen some, but there are so many. Yes, the way how you can say maybe this is a computerized car whereby now you just go and then once you connect, then the computer is able to read where the problem could be coming from. Could be that maybe the battery is not having what power, and yet for you didn't know, you just keep starting and the things are not working out. So basically these are there and they are many. Yeah. These ones you will go through. Okay, restarting, I have already told you about that. How do you check for viruses? Scanning using anyone, an antivirus, and then checking for your computer speed. Actually, you can read it through. Now, of course, I'm going to also share this. These are cleaning. The good thing is that the steps are there. I included the steps, so there is no worry. You can read through, then you can follow the steps, and then we can probably communicate well. Yeah, we have the proper or standard troubleshooting process whereby it has to follow an organized and logical procedure, eliminate variables one at a time. You see, it is actually very important that I have a colleague who is in telecom. Last time I was talking to him, and then he was like, you know, I'm in field and I've been troubleshooting some networks, but things are not coming out. And then he was like, you know what? I had to disconnect all the users on the network, then troubleshoot one by one until I found out the problem so easily. So troubleshooting is a skill that is refined over time. Yeah, that is why last time I told you, sometimes you can even document the process you go through to solve a certain problem, so that next time, like, you don't waste a lot of time, you know what to do. But also, like, things have kept on changing, whereby now the way how we use the tool for us now to connect the hard disks into the computer, we use the IDEs, integrated data electronics cables, but of which those were replaced by SATA, of which now SATA has also been replaced by fiber. I mean, like, this troubleshooting keeps, you know, being refined over time. So the first and the last steps involve effectively communicating with the customer. You have to communicate once everything is done. Explain the purpose of data protection. Then data protection, this is just about data protection things. These are not practical, but they are just recommendations that you can read on your own, and then you provide feedback. I won't exceed this stage. Okay, now, okay, these are troubleshooting what? Steps. Yeah, troubleshooting steps. Number one is you have to first gather. I may be disconnected, I'm not so sure. You first gather data from the customer by talking to him. When did you last do this? Have you installed any program? When did this problem happen, start, and so on? That is getting information from the customer. Then you will read it through and see how you get information from customer, because there are some I might have told you about using what we call open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. If the person we are trying to get data from is knowledgeable about computer or is a computer literate, then you have use even what we call open-ended questions so that they can be able to explain broadly about the program. But if the people are not computer literate, then you can use what we call the closed-ended questions that requires either yes or no, you get, because it is easier for them. Then verify the obvious issues. Yeah, if someone says, you know what, my computer is not connecting to internet, then in verifying the obvious issues, you have to first understand is internet on. If someone is using maybe hotspot, is there data you get? Fine, because it could be connected, but when there is no data, you get. We are now looking at the obvious what issues. Then if they are using maybe internet cables, and the cables well connected from the source to destination, you get, like you're trying out the obvious issues. When we are troubleshooting, first of all, you first get data from the customer. When they tell you their story, then you try out the obvious issues, because now you know very well, this is like a medicine, this is like a medical, when you go to a hospital, and they will obviously ask you, why are you here? What has happened? Then you will say maybe high temperature. Then after high temperature, what they will do is they can, of course, maybe if let me actually assure that maybe you are not in the hospital, but maybe the doctor is online trying to tell you what to do. It is maybe around midnight, you are far and you cannot reach out. They will tell you, you know what, if the temperature is very high, please take what? Take maybe paracetamol. So yeah, but step number 2, we are just trying out the obvious what issues. Yeah, you will read it through